I'm a world changer, feminist, heterosexual, and human alien hybrid. I'm a feminist in that I believe that women deserve the same rights and opportunities as blokes. I'm one of the best trusted advisors here on planet Earth, and I'm most definitely a biological son of Yahweh from heaven. That's right, I'm most definitely a biological son of Yahweh from heaven, which my friends Melania Trump, George Soros, Roberta Metsola, Avril Haines, and Kaja Kallas will definitely confirm. And it also was essential for forming the last four present New World Orders. So it's essential in helping my good friend, the former most powerful man on earth, to create the fourth most recent New World Order. I then help my good friend, the Dark Lord, so she's lovely. So I then helped her to form the second most recent New World Order. I then help my powerful, hyper-evolved friends from the former present New World Order to form the former present New World Order, and then just a little after Valentine's Day of this year, I helped for my girl. I wrote the strategy for my girlfriend Claire to form the most current present New World Order, which I wrote on Valentine's Day for her this year. She's lovely. And which my good friends Melania Trump, George Soros, Roberta Metsola, Avril Haines, and Kaja Kallas will definitely confirm. So I work reasonably hard as one of the best trusted advisors here on planet Earth. And with me helping my friends how to win, and with me helping my more powerful friends how to create achievements important within international history. So I work reasonably hard, and with my brain most definitely being wide, big ideas. Now on to the topic for this reasonably interesting video. Well, I think it's interesting anyway about, so I plan to talk about a new system for a new political system, and I also plan to be talking a bit about a new economic system as well. So I'll start off with the political system and what we have. So the two main systems now are the Chinese the Chinese monocracy, which is Chinese communist monocracy, and also Western democracies. So I'll start with the Chinese monocracy. So it actually is a Chinese capitalist socialist political system where it's communist and socialist, but it also does have a very powerful capitalist feel too, because I'm born 20 Feb 75, and years ago in 1975, George Herbert Walker Bush, who's George Walker Bush 41, the 41st president of the United States of America. So he went on an envoy to usher in American business people into China in 1975 as part of the China experiment, which has been a outstanding success, I suppose. So China is able to get stuff done very fast in government, I'm saying, because they only have one political party, not two, and also when it comes to voting, I think they have a consensus system, not voting, so that they only move on once everyone agrees. And I'm pretty sure that the system's organised so that everyone always agrees, I suppose, without questioning, because they don't want to be the person who is holding things up. Because only one political party, they're all in the same team, and no one wants to be the person who's holding things up. So they're able to get things done fast. So that is the Chinese monocracy, which I suppose has one political party, and they have a powerful capitalist feel, I suppose, and they're able to get stuff done very fast. Then we also have Western democracies whereby the leader of the nation, so it's like he or she are pulling their hair out, and their team of members are pulling their hair out too, because it's very, very hard to get stuff done. And the reason why this is because years ago there was a CIA field manual from the 1960s on how to sabotage a committee. And in that field manual from the CIA from the 1960s, they talked about sabotaging a committee by having the committee size be quite large, and also filling the committee with people who have very different ideologies, so that everyone in the committee spends almost all their time arguing over ideological matters and can't get anything done because of the huge ideological divide that separates them and separates and prevents them from reaching agreement, even with the majority vote. So I guess I'm saying is this, in my opinion, is a huge flaw of democracy, because democracy can't get much done. So usually people just uphold the status quo and aren't able to get much done because the opposition engages in political point scoring to block what the government tries to get done. Yet, years ago, back in August of 2021, I was thinking of a solution to better help for leaders of nations from within Western democracies to better get stuff done, to be able to use strategy to better help for leaders of nations to be getting more government legislation passed through both the House and the Senate, or alternatively being passed through the lower and upper legislative house of government. And so I was quite stumped, because it's a very hard topic, I suppose. And I thought, well, what do I know? And what I knew, I suppose, was that political lobby groups are able to get they're pretty much the only group who's able to ever get anything done because they're able to purchase votes as a way to break down the powerful ideological divide from being able to give enough members of the opposition a vested interest to vote legislation through the lower and upper legislative house of government because of that powerful vested interest from purchasing votes. So I was then thinking, I had the kind of the light bulb moment, I suppose, of why couldn't we turn the office of leader of nation within pretty much all Western democracies here on planet Earth, and possibly even within other democracies within other planets as well, I'm saying, into the biggest political lobby group within the history of their nation, I suppose, as a way to move beyond the leader of the nation and their team pulling their hair out because they can't get anything done, into instead the leader of the nation being quietly confident and self-assured and able to get much done to help build for them a powerful legacy from creating much memorable work, because usually the legacy and importance and significance of a leader of a nation is usually based upon how much stuff they get done, which means, I suppose, how much legislation they're able to get through the lower and upper legislative house of government. So I do think this is pretty important, I'm saying, and I do think that if leaders of nations and their teams were to pivot into allocating a proportion of the funds from each piece of legislation they hope to get through the lower and upper legislative house of government, if they were to start to allocate a proportion of those funds into purchasing enough votes from the opposition for its smooth passage through the lower and upper legislative house of government, well, this would be a great way to massively enhance their prestige and their achievements, because usually their political career and their legacy is all based, I suppose, upon them creating memorable achievements through getting quality legislation through both the lower and upper legislative house of government and signing into law. So I do think that this here is my first model for a better political system, I suppose. So obviously the Chinese monocracy has a lot of very good qualities, because the China experiment from 1975 has been a resounding success, with China rising from success to success as a key indication of the success of the China experiment. However, I still do like democracies, so democracies can be made to be more able to get stuff done via creating minor changes, like actually big changes, I suppose, like having the government of the leader of a nation, his office or his or her office, I suppose, to be able to purchase the votes to ensure the clear passage of legislation through the lower and upper legislative houses of government. So I hope this helps, I suppose, because I do think this can be the future of democracies, which is democracies in which the leader of the nation and his team purchase votes via allocating a proportion of the funding for each piece of legislation towards purchasing votes to ensure its clear passage through the lower and upper legislative house of government. Now on to the second topic, which is a better economic system. And the two main economic systems that we have are capitalism and communism. And so I suppose so in Western democracies, people tend to think that capitalism is king, I suppose, and that communism is a failed system. However, if you were to look at pretty much all corporate teams and all government teams, they do have a very collectivist culture like in communism, I suppose, where it's all about activities for the common good, I suppose, where the team is king and the members of the team work hard like a cog in the wheel to help for the collectivist whole of the team to win, I suppose. So pretty much all corporate and government teams do have their ideology strongly embedded within the Communist Manifesto. So I suppose, what am I proposing? Well, I'm proposing that it's capitalist systems have a focus on self-interest, whereby members in capitalist systems have the approach almost of everyone for themselves, where they're all being free, rational agents who do pursue self-interest. And with higher levels of self-interest, there is much to be gained from having a collectivist self-interest, whereby it's not just everyone for themselves, because people often achieve more when working with friends. It's about trying to probably still have the overarching model of self-interest, but from the perspectives of a communist manifesto of it being self-interest through having the collectivist mindsets of people working with friends, I suppose, whereby the friendship group or the team or the community is king, and people are like a cog in the wheel who are there to help the team or friendship group or communities to win, I suppose, through everyone working hard through winning themselves and creating more success for themselves, I suppose, through not just being someone who is working on their own without backing nor cladding nor support, but who are working as part of a team or machine bigger than themselves, I suppose, with cladding, I suppose, and who are able to achieve more, I suppose, while working with friends. And what's also very important is to be able to get the conditions right for success while working within a high performance team. And this is done via working without stress and without rush, and while working in a near constant high frequency emotional state of love. Because when I work without stress, without rush, and within a near constant high frequency emotional state of love, well, this is a great way for me to be getting the conditions right for success and enable for me to generate my biggest and best ideas, I suppose, because the quality of my thinking is massively enhanced when I'm able to work in a state without stress, without rush, when I've had enough sleep the night before, and also when I'm working within a state of near constant high frequency emotional state of love. There also are important other key ideas, and they are that of the circular economy. Because with the Jewish circular economy, oftentimes Jews may go to the temple with those they do business with, and their kids may be friends with the kids of those they do business with, or their friends' kids may be friends with the kids of those who do business with, I suppose. And I guess what I'm saying is what's important, I suppose, and this, I suppose, is there's a lot of interlinking of those network groups, I suppose, network friendship groups, I suppose, so that there is a lot resting on the fact that things will be okay and that people won't be cheated and that things won't foul up, I'm saying, because if ever things do start to foul up, the people who are responsible within business dealings, within the circular economy, I suppose, then do seek to be bending over backwards to work ultra hard to unfoul things up, I suppose, because of how much is at stake to do with their friendship groups, I suppose, and to do with their reputation as to so everyone has a vested interest in the business agreements being fair and no one getting cheated. And if ever things do foul up, those who are responsible then do work ultra hard as a way to quickly get things back to normal and unfoul things up, I suppose, because of how much is at stake if things do foul up and it's their fault. And also, there also can be the circular economy within the New World Order Illuminati organization, and also the circular economy within the intelligence community, I suppose. So all those groups and other groups too, I suppose, just like the New World Order and the Future Intelligence section of New World Order, of present New World Order, and star fleets and the United Federation of Planets and a whole range of other groups, I suppose. So those are examples of the circular economy, I suppose I'm saying. So when doing business, it does pay to work within the circular economy with people who have been vetted and who have a well established history, history, I'm saying, and who probably also even have some interlinking your friendship groups. I do as well, I'm saying, as a way to ensure that people would never want to cheat those with which they do business with, nor would ever want to foul them. And if ever things were to foul up, they'd work ultra hard to quickly defoul things, I suppose I'm saying, because their whole reputation is at stake within the circular economy. So for the political system, I suppose, I do believe that self-interest is important to pursue, but this here is an evolution of self-interest, to be creating self-interest when working with friends, for friends, within the circular economy, I suppose, and while getting the conditions right for success, with a strong focus of working without stress, without rush, while getting enough sleep the night before, and especially while working within a strong focus, I suppose, of working within the near constant, high frequency emotional state of love. So I hope that you have enjoyed these two systems, being my improvements upon the present political system, and also my improvements upon the present capital economic system too, as ways to get the conditions right for the system, I'm saying, and with these ideas being created for my friends Georgia and Donna, and especially for my beloved girlfriend Claire, who means the world to me. Claire best, love always.